What's up, y'all? I'm gonna take you through my full day of pre-rehab UCL repair with internal brace. Though a similar procedure, it is not to be confused with Tommy John surgery, otherwise known as reconstruction of the UCL. If you're an athlete who's experienced this surgery, I think this video will help. Of course, I'm just some dude on the internet, so don't take everything I have to say as surface value. Please listen to your surgeon and doctors. However, I do tend to overstep the recommendations a little bit. I'm going to go through a workout with you today because it's so important to not let your body lose everything you've gained. Depending on what phase you are in recovery and your surgeon, you're going to have one of these two braces most likely. If you're still in the ACE bandage and this little splint thing, if you're still in that, I really recommend keeping that on, especially the gauze and everything that's actually over your wound. That stuff is super sterile, okay? They put it on there for a reason. It's to limit infections. Basically, do not take that stuff off. If you still have it on and you're day 5 and beyond, I do recommend working range of motion within the actual splint. So just work on a little bit of extension and flexion and actually try to bend that splint a little bit. For my first week, I actually made a mistake. I took off all the bandages. I was looking at my wound and stuff. Not a good move. It actually increased the rate or the chance of infection. However, when I did take it off, I worked pretty hard at range of motion, and as you can see right now, my extension is pretty good, my flexion's alright, but I attribute most of that to that work I put in week 1. So with all that being said, this workout is pretty much only possible with the current brace I have on. If you have a sling, ACE bandage, and a splint, you're going to have to modify it a little bit. This workout's not going to be possible. However, you can still do stuff. Body weight legs is a big thing. I did that workout the other day, super good. I can show you guys that later, but just this specific workout, it's not going to work. So as we go through a little warm-up, I'm just being super mindful of the amount of pressure, and everything that has to do with my elbow is constantly being monitored by me. I made sure to lock the brace just in case I had any sudden jerk movements. Just really want to protect this thing as best as possible. On the same token though, we're not going to just completely baby this thing. It's really not smart to let this affect other factors and other body parts and regions of your body. You got to make sure you're still working the legs. You got to make sure you're still working the core. I'm not making this video so you can follow exactly what I'm doing. I'm just making this to inform you. You got to still do something, and you got to do it every day. So you may be like, what is this dude doing? Well, as you can see, there's a heavy bag right there. I'm a decently experienced. I've done Muay Thai for about a year and a half. It's something I like to go back to whenever I'm home, so I'm going to do a little bit of a lower body Muay Thai workout. At the very least, I'm going to use this as a warm-up for my legs, and I'm going to try to get some decent little kicks thrown in. Haven't done Muay Thai in a minute, so I've been really excited to come home and do this. Realistically, all baseball movements are off limits right now. I just got cleared to sprint yesterday, so you might see a video that incorporates some of that stuff. But throwing, fielding, bro, anything, that is all off limits until you really get good strength and range of motion back. Above all else, doing something like this is going to regain all of that neuromuscular feeling that you kind of lost through this rehab process so far. Dude, I'm telling you, you gotta tell your body and mind that you're still human and you still want to move. To me, it is not acceptable at this point to be okay with bed rest. 1, 2, 3 days after surgery, that's a different story, but at this point, you gotta be moving, dude. Like I said, just keep tabs on your arm, make sure that your brace is locked. When we're doing something like Muay Thai, you gotta go really light, just make sure everything is in check at all times. And if you still have your staples or stitches in your arm, you have no business doing something like this. You absolutely have to get those removed before you start exercise, in my opinion. Again, just for the purpose that your wound is still healing and you do not want to sweat or contaminate, put any kind of bacteria on or near the wound. So after about 15 to 20 minutes of Muay Thai, I went on and began a core ab routine. Everything I said previous still applies. Be extremely cautious, do slow and controlled movements, use lighter weight. So I'm starting off with some sit-ups, pretty basic. I used this 25-pound sandbag, held it mainly with my left arm, and used the brace actually as a little bit of support. Another thing that's been on my mind is my speed. How is my speed going to be affected through this surgery? Of course, I couldn't sprint for a little while. I just got cleared like I said the other day, but really got to make sure we're taking care of our hip flexors. So now I'm going into a reverse squat to really hit those. We're just going to do 3 to 4 sets of all these exercises. As you can see, that one's really tough. That was like destroying me. But that's exactly what I wanted, in a safe and cautious way to get a pretty good to great even level workout. I just felt like I needed to be pushed pretty hard after all this time of rest. So I'm gearing up here for another set of those exercises. I accidentally forgot to record the Russian twists I did, but basically I held a 25-pound dumbbell with my left arm and did a Russian twist. And that's really about it. It's not a super extensive workout or anything. And then I basically made sure to get a little bit of forearm strengthening in. As you can see here, I'm squeezing a rehab ball, and later tonight I'm going to be going through a little bit of range of motion stuff. I'm going to take off my brace and try to work on a little bit of extension and flexion. Let me know if you guys would like to see that process. And at the end of the workout, I decided to get some sunlight, some fresh air, and do some grounding. Mentally, stuff like this is huge. It lets you know, hey dude, the world is not over. You messed up your arm, but look at all this. As far as actual movements during this time, I'm doing a little bit of shoulder mobility and cars and scapular rotations. Many people don't think about how being locked up like that can affect other joints as well, such as the shoulder or the back. As you can see here, I'm just getting the elbows moving, doing a little bit of elbow cars. If you look closely, the left is much better, obviously, than the right. But this is a key movement that you really should incorporate once you get the robotic brace. Now, like I said, I'm just grounding, walking around, I'm feeling alive and human. I've been in rest for weeks. I am just trying to get moving around, get in the sun. Sometimes you don't really need to have an aim or goal for some kind of rehabilitation exercise. To me, this is a rehab exercise in itself. Finally, we get the shower, and this is a huge benchmark too. If you're still in this position and gotta cover your wound, I'm sorry bro, it gets better, but I can finally get water on my wound. Let's go. Thanks for watching. I know I'm not the most professional guy out there, but at the end of the day, I'm going through the same experience as you if you've had this surgery. Let me know if this helps you, and if you want to see more days in the future, also let me know.